Hello, and welcome again in a Pup in the Life. So, in this episode of a Pup in the Life, we are back at it again without our classical way of recording. That just for the listeners that have been here before, I will let you know is not coming back. Why? Because Spotify has decided to do so, and so we have no other way to record than using another platform that we're still trying to test. Unfortunately, we tried using a couple of different platforms, but we're really happy with the results. And so here we are again, just recording from the memo app of the iPhone. And this is just a reminder also for you that done is better than perfect. I know we don't have intro, we don't have outro, we don't have nothing, but please support this project, even listening and sharing this episode if you liked it. So today, mom just got back from Milan, where she met a friend, and she was just talking about the Italian startup ecosystem and whatnot. And so lots of things that just come about in this conversation that we need to have time to work on and to have time to think about. But to be honest, what most struck me when mom came back and she told me was like the amount of make pretend that there is in the world is just astonishing. I mean, 95% of the times in which you hear a success story, somebody that's been praised in the media, just stuff that goes on and that you don't know about, that just keeps happening, and that you hear about and you feel like, oh my God, like I'm missing out something. I need to do it like they did it. What should I learn? What can I learn? And whatnot. Please remember that 95% of the times, the things that you're gonna hear are probably just bullcrap. I'm not saying everything you're gonna hear is bullcrap, but to be honest, a fair amount of what you think you heard that is potentially interesting for you, your business, that you also feel like you need to imitate and you need the urge to do something that's similar to this thing, just remember that sometimes it's bullshit. I will just give you an example. Sometimes you hear people that have exited the company, and for example in Italy, you don't ever have the numbers. Usually you don't give out numbers. You say they exited the company. Sometimes the exit is not even money, it's stocks of the owner's company, for example. And this is also for investors. Sometimes you hear amazing things about the narration around the company, but in the end, all there is that actually is just make pretend, because once you see their balance sheets, these people are not actually selling crap. And so the thing is, it's very easy in the age of social media to just bullshit your way around things and to make pretend that you have done it. But usually there is something that you need to trim away. And this is true for all communication. There is always a level, there is always an amount of what in Italian is called patina, which is actually the surface that you need to clean away, just as if it was dust, right? And so it's of course something that you need to think about when it comes to understanding communication in general, and especially in spaces where how you're perceived makes a lot of difference, because it's actually your value on the market depends. For example, for companies that have, for example, a piece of net worth, a piece of value locked into their own, for example, stock, and this goes true for every person that's involved in such companies. You need to know there's always things to trim down. Another example is, for example, sports teams. With sports teams, you need to understand that there usually is the perception about it. It's about, of course, performance, but it's how the efforts are perceived. It's how the work behind the scenes is perceived. So it is not so easy to understand, and it's not actually too easy to be able to realize that, technically speaking, everything that you see, everything that you know is false. And then again, why are you surprised? I mean, life is false in general, and we all live. I don't mean to say we live in a simulation, but we live in a world in which we know of just the front end, and especially even the front end is just perceived in different ways. And so it really boils down to how closer to your own truth you are. And again, your own truth could potentially also be somebody else's lie. And so where's the limit? It's very hard to say. I would say the limit is delusion, and the limit is common sense and, morals again. Because if I use my own narrative to just build good, that's okay. And if I start to scam people, that is a bit off. And I would say even very bad. So there is really a fine line, which is not so tiny. So that's pretty evident where it stands. So the purpose of this podcast is, please remember that most of the times when you compare yourself to somebody else and you're there just bitching around saying, oh my god, this person is so like they did it way better than me, way before me, they're richer, they're better, they're cooler, they're smarter, they're more good looking, whatever. Just remember that most of the times truth is not what you think it is. First off, because you never know the first condition of the person and the truth behind the camera. And second, because maybe they actually built a specific narrative for you to make believe that was something that was happening, but it actually is not. So this is the podcast for today. I don't mean to razz on anybody specifically. I'm just saying there are many things that don't come around if you then go through the things. I actually also heard something about a documentary about a murder in Italy, and where this documentary is actually pointing out the fact that probably this guy that was convicted was innocent after all. And so the thing is, you can make people believe whatever you want, but in the end, there are proof that make this person a murderer. And then again, if you think about it, you can just decide that your narrative is that one and try to make people believe. And if you have enough money to do so, it might be also even not be so difficult to do. So put yourself in the position of the absurd, where you actually just go, just start claiming whatever you want, and then put yourself in the position of the people who receive the information and ask yourself, how many people are gonna actually go through the stuff and realize that's actually make pretend? How many? How many do you think have read the actual sentence of a conviction of this guy? Probably like in the realm of the hundreds, maybe the thousands. But you throw there a documentary on Netflix that says, hey, maybe this guy is innocent, and potentially this is seen by millions of people. So this is actually all there is. And the only thing I can say is, please always remember that there is a limit from the side of the make pretend. And from the side of the person receiving the information, please trim down. Your life is much more important. Your objectives are much more important. You don't live up to other people's objectives, because if you do, you're actually not taking care of yourself. There's only either of the two. Either you think for you or you think for somebody else. And ultimately, that's your pick. Anyways, it's been great to hear you again. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Sorry for this podcast being a little bit messy lately, but it is what it is. We don't really have another option with mom here. So I'm happy to see you around. Please bear with us. Give us a further, give us a bit more support, a like, a comment, a share, a word of encouragement, whatever. A heart on Insta. Just let us know you're here, and we want to see my fellow dogs and cats and animals and pets as well. I will send you kisses, hugs, and a bit of barks. Stop scrolling. Bye.